P plus playing on the western side, looking over towards brute force as they try and rotate in. Some shots going through, a little bit messy. Not the most amazing, but yeah, setting up the buggies to try and get some high ground positioning. RRQ, No Mercy up against 77. Zadira stops short, starts to prime a nade over towards No Mercy. He's like, ooh, better get out of here. This is no longer an ideal position to be in. Back towards the rest of the squad. About a minute away from stage 2.
Yeah, Circle, it always seems so lethargic, but it gets up on you faster than you'd think. So we'll see what happens in a minute, because it will force a lot of teams to make a decision, right? The nicest shift that could probably happen to this lobby is a hard northwest shift on where this current circle sits. It would commit to the mainland. It would head over towards the Gatka fields. Teams can find a lot of routes in there. So a hard northwest shift is actually probably the kindest result out of this. The most dastardly and wickedest circle shift would be the southeast shift, right, to military base, and 4MV would be laughing.
Yeah, they would be very happy with that. Few teams, in fact, the only team that went down towards Sosnovka. Team Secret on the eastern side of Quarry, though, not a bad position to be in terms of scouting, in terms of moving forward. It's an interesting one because we do have this massive lineup of teams over the coastal edge of the center island here. Thundertalk's King rotating past Jimmy.
Neither team going to pull up and go for that fight. They're out in the open. It's a little bit too exposed for their liking. Next circle comes through, and it shifts up towards the north blank. That's going to force 4MV to make the crossing that they were probably going to have to do 9 times out of 10. But all of the teams now looking to coalesce towards Pmgc.
Yeah, Pmgc very much a hotspot. Again, for 4MV, like we were saying earlier, they just need a little bit of Sosnovka to be cut in, and it is on that north side, so they can again play this game out a little bit slower, possibly waiting for stage 3 or even stage 4 to cross that bridge. But with Doc already making a path over towards Ferry Pier, maybe there's a location going forward for them to anchor on towards, grapple across to. Brute force over in the sticks. Let's see if we can find a little bit of a pick off, but again, awkward location for taking shots from.
Brute force on the south point. Influence rage across the way. DRS and Stalwart, that's on the east side blank up towards the coastline. And 2 players from Stalwart already going down. DRS doing a lot of work. Sleepy moving in to get the res over onto Gante. This killer wants to try and secure these flushes. Senshir as well off on the off angle is down for Stalwart. That's the first flush confirmed. Actually, oh, was that pitched away by Thundertalk? I think it was. King managed to sneak that point back, which means DRS, they don't get any value from their opening knocks here. Really unfortunate. Thundertalk, though, desperately need those points as well. They're only on 7, and they'll pump up to 8 there. Sleepy does confirm onto 1, so it's 1 apiece for the southeast fight.
Yeah, taking names from Stalwart, I mean, they're having the worst scenario out of all of this. I mean, points are being stolen, but they're losing players in the meantime. 4MV finding a shot over towards Garnet from CAG Osaka. Goodness me, like Max was saying, ooh, you better be careful. This is not a team to anger, to frustrate inside of this lobby as they send in.
4MV going for the roll up here to CAG Osaka. Bad blood breaks to new mutiny as 4MV continue the feud. 4MV on the roll-up, Doc slow and steady in the hovercraft. He's getting the perfect angle. He's lining it up. He's calculating. He's getting all the information as well. That's a big scouting mission. Something the hovercraft can be used for, but Apex is down in the meantime, and a nice spray out. And COG Osaka are ready for it. A pickup onto 2 of 4MV, including the man himself, Doc. Leaves 2 players now left standing. It's Rufus and Baron.
Not entirely sure what Doc was planning. I understand that the hovercraft does provide you a big amount of cover, but the scout was so slow, and I think Doc was expecting the vehicle to provide him a little bit more cover, but the spray down that every single one of the players from CAG put into, because the rest of 4B wasn't pushing up too aggressively, it sort of allowed them to pump so many bullets into that hovercraft that the position became very tenuous for Doc. Yeah,
it's the
initial knockoff onto Garnet does get pulled through, but now 4MV are in a sticky situation.
It's the sort of play you definitely need that aggressive backup off, right? The value of it is you can get a lot of information relatively safely, like you're saying, but it just wasn't fed back in time and they didn't capitalize on it fast enough. It wasn't quite the right time. The coordination wasn't there for 4MV. So once again, they are snubbed by Pmgc Osaka if they try to cross the bridge. A difficult story for them to be told, the one they'll have to hear and hopefully learn from if they want to maintain that spot towards the top. In the meantime, over in the middle of the circle, you've got D plus Kier holding out RRQ on their approach, RCB trying to push on in, everybody fighting out in the open fields now to leave this west side too.
Potato from Boing Donkey will go down. Oh, dear me, DRS, Sleepy's down. One player from Stalwart still alive and kicking. DRS would like to clean him out. Magnum will take down Potato. So firstly, grenade elimination of the match here. D plus onto RQ. Good step out though.
Stalwart with just the one player left standing. Gianti now is able to find it. And that should be the reses coming through for DRS. Playing on as 4 as the southeast side, they'll be able to look to turn their attention to getting up the cliff face ahead of them. Because that is a real difficult jump. With Thunder Talk moving off of it as well, they're going to have a little bit of an easier time, but still a pretty treacherous approach out to the west side for DRS.
Yeah, difficult maneuvers. At least they have 4 players. I think that's the main thing. Still looking strong with the eastern side being a little bit less populated and off towards the west. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. They can continue forward off the back of this one. D plus once again in a nice central spot, playing a 2-2 split, north and south at the moment, so they have options going forward for this team.
D plus Kia right now, I think, in, again, a really solid central spot. The hill to the southeast of Pachinki. They're split across it right now, 2-2. RCB unlikely to be moving too much further forwards as they're a duo on the south side. The teams around Pachinki going to be much more concerned with getting out to the east. So I think D plus Kia fairly safe from full pushes. Team Liquid is probably the team that will look to try and move on in. But 77 are going to slow them down, force them to regroup out to the west side too.
Okay, 77 made a very quick rotate. They were stuck over towards our western side for quite a while, and they just flew on through. I respect that from 77. But now they're out in the open on a broadside on this angle, and Team Liquid still behind them with Cardozo and Mythic, and Isla up front. So it's a weird scenario to be in for 77. They've got to be very, very cautious of moves happening next. Mythic, though, shows face. Now, it could be a bit of a bait for them, as Mythic do, alongside with the rest of his team, surround 77. But if Mythic goes down early, suddenly there's an opening to be found here for 77.
Spray down for Chief. One looks for the second onto Shifu, but he gets behind the tree just in time, tucked away. Magnum, man of the hour to try and keep them safe, but Mythic's on the off angle. That's a big little pickup there. A little bit of an oxymoron on the sentence, but it's still going to work out well for them to find more than they're looking for. Mythic on the big flex out. And the fact that he's only just gone down is so huge for Team Liquid, but the rest of his team, in the meantime, has been dismantled. 3 knocks going either way, and 77 need to try and stand up tall, but can they do it? Can they keep their heads above water? The res for Cardozo can come through on Mythic now.
2 solos for 77. Zadira playing this very cautiously. I think he knows that CAG, Osaka, D plus Kia all looking to finish up this fight. Good shots out there, and it will be Vex to take down one of 77 players. Limbo Boom goes down shortly afterwards. So losing Shifu as well as Limbo Boom, not great, and there should be a res coming through for Team Liquid. You wonder if they'll get the full reset, but Vexy is becoming a real problem for both of these teams here. That's a nice nade, actually might pop straight on towards him.
Oh, is it going to go around the side of the rock? No, it's just a little scrubbly bounce there on the ridge line, and you're not going to quite find the mark. Cardozo gets the first aid off. It's a good word, isn't it? I like it. It gives the indication that I was going for. Maybe a nonsense word, but Alice in Wonderland did it. Why can't I? Cardozo, though, the second one, not so scrubbly. Looking more scrumptious as Vexy goes down.
Okay. I think that's the third one you've come out with. You're making up words at this point. I love it.
Scrumptious is that's a real one.
No, scrumptious is. Scrubbly, I think we had a squibbly the other day as well.
Yeah. I just did 2 scrubblies there because I liked it so much.
I think you had Quigley as well.
Yeah.
on Group Yellow. Just like new words all over the place from
That's
the
what
John
we're
Allen
like.
Dictionary.
And the slidey toes, the Gar and Gimbal in the way.
Those aren't made up, those were offered.
Little difference, but Team Liquid not going to be hearing too much of the nonsense on the roll-up. Unfortunately, they do lose a player. And a second as well. That is pretty nasty stuff. Brute Force able to cut across them with a broadside on the spray down. Ayala, the last to stand for Team Liquid. No eliminations found either. And they're still on this bottom side of the table, Blank, with only one player left standing, surrounded by Team Secret. Brute Force know exactly where they are. I've got to wonder if they're going to be able to...
Yeah. Still 0 points. I don't guess. The 77 is diabolical stuff, man. Feels really rough. CAG Osaka down to 3 players, but 5 eliminations so far. Good stuff for them. 4MV's also out, so successful approach in terms of their defense versus 4MV.
D+ Kia still a pivotal position, and this 2-2 split, now a 3-1 split. That they've managed to hold this hill to the southeast of Pachinki really, really well. CAG Osaka moving up to Osal on the off angle, forcing him to regroup out into the field. Now they're in the dip, so a little bit more danger for D+ Kia, but we'll see if they can weather the storm. CAG Osaka will undoubtedly try and inflict upon them from that high ground position that they just vacated. RRQ scrapping on the southeast side with Thunder Talk, who are down to just King. He's trying to hold up in the shack, and RRQ roll out towards the blue zone. They want to find this off angle here. No Mercy spots him moving on the inside here, and they're trying to pin him down, but he's quite wily. Let's see what they can do. Auto shotgun there, and the Molotov on the inside means that it's not going to work for King, but there is an off angle. Who's that? There's a cheeky little third party coming on the flex out there as Cellcom Digi Alliance move out to the southwest to pick up the pieces.
There's some very weird fights going around the map right now in terms of just the third parties coming through. Void Donkey have had some crazy impact on this game, just in terms of being able to take some good shots. That's what they're called, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that now. It's, they're renamed.
Yeah.
Going on in. I do like it. The Void Donkey squad. It's fun.
That's right.
It's energetic, and I'm liking that. That's exactly what they need as well. They want to try and break up into the survival stage.
Onto his teammate. Not ideal. A lot of teams heavily battered and bruised inside this lobby already. Somewhat understandable considering that the northwest side, a lot of dead ground there in terms of the fielded position. The teams are going to be taking casualties all over the place. Digital Alliance currently down towards that southeast side, though. In a good spot. In a very, very good spot, actually. They just need to get rid of Void Donkey.
2 players remaining. The Vicious as well, trying to move in on this eastern side, but it's just Brunosen now left standing for them. Influence Rage going to be able to take shots. Void Donkey trying to move in ahead of this and can't quite finish the spray here. Penned down by the shots overhead. By the Cellcom Digi Alliance on the south, Influence Rage on the north, and still he's going for the fight. Has the smoke cover to try and make it work. D+ Kia still in the middle on the edge of those Pachinki fields on the southeast side. Next circle about to come in. Cellcom Digi Alliance losing a player on the south edge gives it a little bit more breathing room, but they all are going to have to scrap for the east side now.
Dear me. D+, though, wonderful spot to be in. I think they're really happy with this position. They control a lot of ground up towards this western side. They just need to get rid of Team Secret, as well as the final player from Team Liquid, who may get a point off the back of placements, which is great news. Great news. The Vicious from those in. Bruno's in. Can't get away, Cardo's in, bro. Can't help it. And Influence Rage towards that northeast side, who have just come off the back of quite a good game. If they can get another one here, they'll be very, very pleased with themselves. Already sat in a nice second place, third place, sorry, just underneath 4MV. But D+ off this game have reclaimed the first place spot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what I was saying, right? With the fact that 4MV had that one pop-off, but they haven't really been able to back it up. They got 32 of their points in one game, Blank. D+, they managed to get a first place in the first game. In the third match, they came, I think they ended up coming third. So a late fall down from the second place team, but still a really, really big point tally. And this game, again, they should be on to a strong match. And this is how you win championships, right? You don't get these 22-point games. Well, you can, and you teams have in the past, but it's all off the back of the low-end games, right? You get these high ball games, but in the end, it comes down to where your floor is, where your averages are. We'll see if they can keep that one going. Because Influence Rage looking to try and keep that third place average as well, as Law holds beside the tree pre-pod with a fancy feet hopping in and out of the roll-up and trying to get the res onto Neos here. The fact that he may be allowed to do this is crazy, but that Molotov should seal the deal onto Neos. The spray down, but the off angle not so strong. And Influence Rage taken down. Brute Force able to push them aside. Up to 5 eliminations on the game now, but they're only playing as 2. And they still have Brunozin across the way.
Yeah, Brute Force don't go for the Riz over towards their teammate. Instead, they just reduce the aura coming through from Influence Rage by a sizable margin, in fact. But Brute Force will send away. I think playing over towards that north side, trying to get heavier placements in this game is smarter. Brunozin, he's just going to sit it out. Okay, makes sense. Oh, he's been spotted. That's unfortunate. Has to step up, but it will be Cluck over from Digital Alliance to support the guys from Brute Force. And now Pre-Pause wondering, where did that shot come from?
Or where was it going to, more accurately? But it's gone either way, the threat on their off angle. Team Secret on the southwest, they've been trying to play quiet through this one. D+, Kia as well. 7 eliminations now. Playing from the west side, I feel like this is another game that they could really take control of. There is a loot crate as well, just out to their northeast side. You can see Nolbu closest to it. And that's going to give them an important linchpin position to move in towards that hillside that is stretching out before them, that these teams on the east are going to try and fight over. Osel, they have to leave the watchtower fairly soon. All these bunkers, all these trenches to play around, and it is great news for their mobility across the rest of this circle. They get a huge shift out west flank. This should